paints you'll need. You only need three: white, a blue, and an aqua type green. So you can mix up that aqua green just with blue and a bright green if you need to, but we also use some slow dry blending aid, and those are the only three colors you'll need: blue, white, and aqua. We have a wash brush, I think 2-inch, 1-inch wash brush for the background, a 1/2-inch wash brush for basic shapes, a filbert for blending, a 2 round for detail and foam, and then a number 1 with a point for bubbles and foam and details. And those are all the brushes you'll need. Okay, with the 1-inch wash brush, go ahead and add some blue to the top, some green here into the middle, and then mix a little white in with the green to get that bright teal, and add that in on the lower third. And that last little bit, mix the blue and the green together so it's a little darker, and put that on the bottom. So we can add a little bit of bright white here to the top and blend that out so that it glows. And then also in that back wave, add a little bit of bright white. And that'll just be the foam mapped out. Now that those are mapped out, let's do our background. And on top of that dark blue, get some of the blue, mix it with white and get a lighter blue, and then using either a number 1 with a point or a number 2, just make a bunch of random little strips on it, and those will be waves. And then in between those lighter waves that we just put on, get some of the dark blue and just go around those light strips that we just added. And those will be the troughs in between the waves, that will be a bit darker. So we're just mapping out in the background, and then on those lighter waves, get some of that teal or an even lighter blue, whichever one you want, and just map out those strips of light color we put in the background as waves, and just blend them out a little bit. And then we'll start to get those defined. So we'll get the background, the midground, and the foreground here just mapped out. So here I'm just cleaning up and redefining the troughs, and then we'll have our background mapped out pretty good. So here we can just tap in some bright white to get bubbles and foam and spray. And then we can use that same bright white to add a highlight to the top of that foreground wave and blend it out. So now that we've brightened up the top, I'm just using a filbert and some of the blues and greens, and I'm darkening up the bottom, and then we'll blend that together. That way we have contrast when we add the foam, because we're going to add brighter foam on top of it. So we want a good spectrum of light to dark, and then we'll go ahead and drop in our foam on top once we get that blended out well. Okay, so using our light teal, go ahead and map out some waves and foam here in the back. We want some ripples and some texture in that back wave. And then add some darker green in between, and we're just mapping it out. And add some dark darker green underneath the lip and curl of the wave because it will be shaded, and then we'll have that exposed region to the left will be a bit brighter. So yeah, darken up underneath the crest of the wave, add the texture here, which is what we're doing, blend it out, and then we'll start to bring that wave to life. Alright, so using a filbert with some of that super bright teal, just teal and white mixed, we can start to add some foam here on this front wave. And try to make the foam curl with the shape of the wave here on the left. So we get that curl in there, and then just add some more horizontal strips at the bottom, curl in the middle, and then more horizontal strips near the top also. And then using bright white and a number 2, we can map out some of the bubbles in the very forefront. So this will just be also foam and bubbles. And that's why we wanted it a little darker on that bottom strip so we get contrast. So now on top of that teal color, we can add some bright white there on the top and the left. But then in the middle foam, you can see it's a little bit of blue mixed in also. So we're using some teal mixed with white, some blue mixed with white, some pure white, and we're just adding some unique designs here for the foam. And it can be somewhat random, just in the left part there, try to have it curl with the wave, and that's kind of the key. And then the rest is just filling it in with some random designs here. And now we can go in and add some foam, highlight the tip top of that wave, and start to add some detail. So here I'm just blending out a little bit of that white and making it a little brighter up near the top. And then I'm adding some little dots of bright white on the background waves just to show them catching light. And then just working in some more bubbles and foam and spray. So now I'm going in with a little bit of blue on top of those foam trails we made up near the top, just to show some contrast against the bright teal background. And those are really watered down and washed out. I just wanted to add that for a base and some contrast, and then we'll go over top of that and brighten that up again. But it's nice to have that little bit of dark in the back of the foam up near the top. We'll make it look more real. So here in between those dark foam trails we made, I'm just adding some more bright teal just so they don't get lost. I wanted to keep the top of that wave bright because it's catching the light in the background. And there I'm dragging down some white down into the trail. So we have a couple layers now. We have a dark background, a mid-tone, and then we're adding some white highlights on top. Because you know, it's not just going to be one color. There's going to be a lot of different colors, and so this helps make it look more realistic. And then you can work down and brighten up and add a second layer of bright white to that foam in the foreground. Add some little dots too here, some little strips here and there, just to add some detail and bubbles and foam. And then we can continue to work the tops of both of those waves with bright white to add some bubbles spray. Here I'm adding some subtle highlights to those back wave ripples and textures, blending that out. And it's really just an X, you know, a bunch of X's. If you look at the texture there, it's made with just, you know, about a half a dozen X's that all interconnect, and that'll give you that natural texture on the waves. So we're just going ahead and adding a second layer of green, dark green underneath the lip of that back wave, just to show its shadow as it curls. And then right above the crest of the front wave, go ahead and add some dark green or blue and blend that out just to give contrast and make that front wave pop. And then right above the initial foam in the foreground, and in between some of the top pieces of foam, we can blend out some of that dark color also. And the last step is to just flick on with some watered down white and a square brush with stiffer bristles. We can flick on some natural looking spray. So that really helps with realism and gives a unique effect. And that's pretty much it once you do that. And there you have it. So that's how you make a set of aqua breaking waves with acrylic on a canvas panel. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. Stay safe, and I will see you all on the next video.